This is Breaking News.
Of experienced immigration lawyers and alongside application assistants and interpreters. Throughout this crisis, New Yorkers have stepped up to help their fellow brothers and sisters in need, and they are continuing to do so. So today, we are announcing that the city's leading universities have committed to providing undergraduate and graduate student application assistance throughout the fall. This includes 4 universities of New York schools, Baruch College of City University of New York Schools, Baruch College, City College, Hunter College, and Queens College, along with Columbia University, New York Law, and New York University, all of which will sponsor at least 3 full days at the clinic this fall, giving their students the chance to volunteer as application assistants. These universities are providing the students with an ability to earn credit for their time helping at the center. That's real-world learning experience. Both my husband and I, when we attended law school, did clinics in that work, and it really helped us to provide for our real-life experience as we were young lawyers. Coming together from all corners of New York City to help our newest New Yorkers get their applications in so that they can work and begin their quest towards the American dream. But we cannot continue to absorb tens of thousands of newcomers on our own without more help from the state and the federal government. Last week, along with leaders Schumer, leaders Jeffrey, Dean Nadler, and members of the New York congressional delegation, Mayor Adams met with Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas to discuss our city's needs related to the asylum seeker crisis. We made it clear that New York City cannot continue to carry the weight of a national problem on our own. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment. We need others to step up and play their role as New York City is doing. This is a humanitarian issue about real people and real lives. Asylum seekers are coming here to seek the American dream. It is time for the rest of the nation to step up. Before I pass it over to Georgina, I want to thank our other partners who have joined us today. The progress we've been able to make has been due to our whole of city approach alongside our legal partners and now including a number of our city's academic institutions. With us today, we have Liliana Valmond from Columbia Law School, Matt Gewald from New York Law, Melissa Begg from Columbia School of Social Work, Natalia Holtzman from Queens College, Tony Liss from City College, Linda Esk from Baruch College, and Mary Kavanaugh from Hunter College. Again, I want to extend the administration's gratitude to each and every law firm, nonprofit, academic institution, and fellow New Yorkers from each of the organizations involved in this. When I was at the Harlem Children's Zone, Jeffrey Canada would tell me all the time that despair is contagious, but so is hope. You are giving New Yorkers hope today, and we hope that that is contagious, and we are able to give the asylum seekers what they need so that they can continue on their journey. This humanitarian crisis has required a whole-of-city response, and each of you are making that possible. Let me now turn the mic over to NYU Provost Georgina Dopico to say a few words on behalf of all the academic institutions working with us.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Williams-Isom, for all that you, Mayor Adams, and your teams have done over the past year and a half to welcome new arrivals to New York. Speaking as someone who came to this country seeking asylum as a child and who has benefited immensely from programs like this one, I'm especially proud that NYU is joining the city and our fellow institutions of higher education in this important effort to support the newest New Yorkers to build a home here in this city that has long welcomed immigrants and celebrated their many contributions to our vibrant urban life. Since its founding nearly 200 years ago, NYU has been an institution in and of the city. And as both the city itself and our university communities have grown more diverse, more complex, and more global, NYU has become increasingly, like our partner institutions, institutions in and of the world. In that spirit, we welcome this opportunity to participate in this initiative alongside many of New York's great colleges and universities, and in concert with partners from the public and private sectors to assist the newest members of our community to apply for asylum at the city's Asylum Application Help Center. We're looking forward to working alongside Columbia School of Social Work, Columbia Law, New York Law School, Baruch College, Hunter College, Silberman School of Social Work, Queens College, and City College. Together, we and our peer institutions are making a multifaceted commitment. Starting this fall, we'll send cohorts of volunteers, students, faculty, and staff to help those seeking asylum complete their applications, and we will offer credit-bearing courses for students to contribute to this effort. That will include actual coursework as well as internships, externships, and fellowships. We're honored to be able to contribute what's perhaps our most valuable resource, the time and talent of our students, our faculty, and our staff to this critical work. Deputy Mayor Williams Isom, New York City's colleges and universities are ready to help, grateful for the opportunity to collaborate with you and with such wonderful partners, and eager to help make asylum possible for our new neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Georgina. And you remind me that we all have a story about how we got here and how we came here. The question we have to ask ourselves is, what is history going to say about what we did? What did each of us do in this moment? And how do we want history to remember us? So thank you all. Before we open it up for questions, I'd like to go over some of the numbers for this week. As of July 30th, we have 107,900 people in our care, including 56,600 asylum seekers. Over 95,600 people have come through our system since last spring. We have opened 194 sites, including 13 humanitarian relief centers. And last week alone, from July 24th to July 30th, more than 2,300 asylum seekers entered our system. As you all can see, the situation is not letting up, and there does not seem to be any end in sight. We call again to our federal government to do more, including naming the asylum seeker crisis a federal emergency, to speed up work authorizations, and to enact a national decompression strategy. With that, we'll open up to the floor to questions.
A couple of months ago, Deputy Mayor, you mentioned that you were going to try to get other municipalities in New York to take some of the load off of New York City. There's been litigation back and forth. What's the latest specifically with Long Island? And if I could just ask one other question. Yesterday, the mayor said that the mayor said that the border has to be brought under control. What did he mean by that?
Thank you for your question. I can't speak to what the mayor meant by that, but you do know that we have talked about doing our own decompression strategy in the absence of a national decompression strategy. So I think there's probably over 1,500 folks who are now in other parts of the state. We would love for the state to help us do that in a more aggressive manner, a quicker manner, because we would love to place people quicker than we are able to do right now. We are very thankful to those municipalities that have stepped up and are helping migrants get access to an American dream. We think that there are plenty more places where people could be settled, and so we are constantly asking people to step up so that we can make sure that the asylum seekers have a place to lay their head at night.
Is any more stepped up since the last time we had the update?
We're continuing to work with the state on that.
Hi.
Hi.
Henry with PICS. Since the meeting with the White House last week, first, what specifically did Homeland Security and Biden administration officials say was the reason for not more dollars and more work permit authorizations that you've been asking for some time? And have they offered the possibility of anything else? For example, refugee centers they opened for Afghan refugees, maybe doing some of that work here, or the emergency declaration to make federal space available. Those two other items seem like things he could do now with executive action.
So I'm not going to talk about what their conversation was, but I'm going to tell you what we did. What we did was we advocated on behalf of New York City, and we said the things that we've been saying, which is what we need, which is work authorization. We need access to federal sites. We need a declaration, a federal declaration, so that we can unlock more funds and more sites, and we need a national decompression strategy.
His representatives have been on the scene now for at least a couple of days, correct? And they've seen the scene outside the Rose Belt. What's taking so? I think most New Yorkers are just wondering, you're seeing this.
So I don't think that's my question to answer. I think that's a question that you should ask those folks about what, how they want to respond to what New York City is asking for.
respond to multiple reports that Randall's Island is being considered as a temporary shelter for migrants, possibly 2,000 migrants? And why this, idea when the temporary tent city at Icon Stadium was closed very quickly?
Yes, so you know that all options are on the table for us right now. I think when we originally did our tent in Randall's Island, that was probably 30,000 migrants ago. And so we are here now trying to make sure that we look at all the options on the table and that we're able to provide for, prioritizing children and families. So that's what we're doing.
Why are cops blocking reporters from speaking to migrants outside the Roosevelt Hotel, and is that a policy that City Hall endorses?
So I'm not aware of that, Bernadette, so I'll get back to you on that, but there should be no reason why that's happening.
Do you think that that's something that you guys will communicate to the NYPD? Because we have a reporter at the Roosevelt right now who's told they're not allowed to speak whatsoever to...
That seems very strange. I'll follow up.
The situation at the southern border has improved in the sense that there are fewer asylum seekers crossing, and yet the numbers in New York don't seem to have changed. Can you explain, can you characterize?
So I wish I could explain that, but your characterization is exactly right. While things seem to be slowing down at the southern border, we have consistently been seeing 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 folks coming into New York City. The only thing that I can say or what I can my opinion is that people are coming from other parts of the United States when the doors are closing in Denver, when the system is full in Chicago. People say, let's go to New York City because we know that New York City will provide migrants with food and shelter and the things that they need. So that is what I think is happening.
How many are still arriving on buses from the southern border?
So there's still a lot. I think last night we got 3 more buses, and today we're expecting more buses. So the buses from Texas are continuing. They certainly are not what we've seen, a couple of months ago. But I think that's why there's a little disconnect with people who are like, what is going on in New York City, and how is it possible that you're seeing that many people? But right, I can't make that up. We are seeing 2,300 people a week still coming into New York City seeking shelter. That is unsustainable.
So you spoke to how many asylum applications have been filed since the center opened. When you made that announcement, you talked about how a lot of asylum seekers were coming up on that 1-year mark,
right,
where they wouldn't be able to apply anymore.
Right.
What happens to them now? I mean, I'm assuming many of them are past that point.
So what, you want to answer?
I can jump in.
Go ahead.
At the asylum center, the folks who are volunteering and assisting with those applications are focused on individuals who haven't yet hit that 1-year mark. If we have folks that have hit the 1-year mark, we're trying to refer them to legal services providers so that they have legal representation to address that issue.
Deputy Mayor, a few briefings ago, you and the mayor announced the 60-day notice initiative.
Yes.
I'm wondering, since then, how many 60-day notices have you actually handed out? And
Okay.
do you think, or rather, can you comment on whether or not the 60-day notices is what has prompted the situation outside of Roosevelt?
I can definitely see how people are connecting that. So you're right, we announced a couple of weeks ago a 60-day rule for single men only. Since then, we've handed out over 800 or about 800 notices. And what we're seeing, Chris, is that a lot of people are asking to be reticketed. A lot of people want to join other friends and families that they have. A lot of people want access to ID cards so that they can make their way and get settled in other places. What we're seeing right now, those people there hasn't been anybody who is leaving as a result of the 60 days because the 60 days is up. We just started the 60 days on July 26th. We can look at I think it was last Monday if that was the date. What we're seeing is the ongoing struggle of a system that is buckling with 500 people a day. And so that is the struggle that we're having right now and what we're seeing that's happening at the Roosevelt.
No one has gone to reapply for shelter as a result.
The 60 days wouldn't be up yet.
So actually, I have 2 questions. The first question is, a few weeks ago, you and the mayor announced that you were going to do your own strategy by sending people to the border with flyers saying, don't come to New York.
Yep.
So my question is, how many people have you actually sent to the border? How many flyers have you given out? And why has does not stop the flow?
So I'm going to get back to you in terms of how many people have actually received the flyer. We know that we definitely wanted to put it also on social media. I think, Marsha, people are coming here because they're desperate. And so we really need the federal government to help us with a decompression strategy because people still have need. And so if they were to help organize where people can go to, and if we could have other cities do half of what New York City is doing, I think we would be able to manage this much better.
Yesterday I was at a shelter in Queens at St. Agnes School where I talked to a woman who had been in a homeless, she's not a migrant, she's been in the country for 5 years. She was staying at a women's shelter in the Bronx. On Friday, she was uprooted, told to bring all of her stuff and put in this shelter for migrants in Queens where she's living in a dormitory where men and women sleep together. What is going on? Are you clearing out that the Bronx shelter so you can put families? I mean, was there a need? I mean, what prompted her to be moved from this place on the Post Road in the Bronx?
I cannot speak to her particular situation, but what I can say is that we do have some individuals who are in hotel rooms, and what we would like to do is switch those individuals into more congregate settings so that we can have priorities for families with children. When people say we don't have a plan, I almost laugh. We've had a short-term plan, a medium-term plan, and a long-term plan, and we're using all the tools in our toolbox in order to make sure that we're prioritizing children with families.